Hi guys, Casper MMA here, and today we're back with another predictions video on the channel. Today I'm giving my predictions for PFL 8, Kasanganay versus Silveira. Now, I usually just do UFC predictions, like the fight nights and the pay-per-view cards, but I thought I'd do branch out a bit. I know I've watched the PFL most weekends when it's on, and thought I might as well give my predictions for it as well. I know you guys might want to see it as well. I put out a tweet the other day, and some people wanted to see it, so we're here today. Now, you'll probably have to bear with me on a lot of these picks, because this is my first card I am making predictions for, because I'm not the biggest, my knowledge of PFL is not as big as the UFC is, and there's a lot of fighters that don't have a clue who they are, so I'll try my best to. We'll see how it goes. But I do have the entire card up in front of me. There is a total of 10 fights on the card, and we start off with the first fight, which is Montague versus Marilla Morais. So, Michelle Montague is 5-0. She's from Australia. No, she's from New Zealand. I always get Australia and New Zealand mixed up. They look the same flag, to be honest. 5-0. All wins by submission. All wins by rear naked choke. Damn, that's kind of crazy. I mean, people need to realise that they should not get caught in a rear naked choke by her. But yeah, she looks pretty decent, to be fair. Her opponent, 3-1. Only 4 fights. She lost the last one to knockout, but she's won a few by knockouts before. I think this one's a pretty easy pick. I'm going to go with Montague. I'm definitely not even saying that right. Montague. She's going to win here. Probably by rear naked choke is a pretty easy bet to go with. I don't know if you can bet on that. But Michelle Montague by submission, I think that's a good one. She's going to move up to 6-0. So, move up the card to Jordan Oliver versus Braden Akeo. Or Akeo. I'm not sure you say that either. Jordan Oliver, his record says on here 1-0. So, guessing he hasn't been in MMA for very long. It looks like he's a wrestler. So I'm guessing he's bringing that into MMA. He won his first fight in Bellator by arm triangle choke, so not too bad. So he's probably got some potential. He's fighting Braden Akeo, who is 5-3, so not the best record, to be honest. He's lost his last fight to Ricardo Fuentes by decision. He's won a few fights before, not against the greatest opposition, obviously. You know what? I'm going to back Jordan Oliver, even though he's got a very short record of 1-0. I feel like he won his last fight, so he's going to come into this with a confidence and probably just going to out-wrestle Akeo, maybe even get another submission. Who knows? So, moving up the card, we have Fad Jean versus Chris Brown. Now, Jean is 7-0. Not a bad record, to be fair. 4 wins by knockout, 1 by submission. His last one was by uppercut. In the PFL, he's won both his wins by knockout, which is not too bad, to be fair. His opponent, Chris Brown, 10-4, not as good record. The other guy's undefeated. Coming off 2 wins in the LFA. Lost on the PFL Challenger Series. He also has a loss to Ignacio Bahamondes, who was in the UFC. I think he's in the UFC now. But I'm going to go with Fad Jean here. He's 7-0, undefeated. It's hard to look past him. Chris Brown, he's lost on the contender thing or whatever, Challenger Series to PFL for. I feel like Jean is the better fighter here, and yeah, he'd probably win by knockout in this one. So, move up the card. We have Elvin Espinoza versus Mads Burnell. Now, Mads Burnell, I think he was in the UFC for a little bit. Yeah, he was. He won 1 and lost 2. He fought Arnold Allen, beat Mike Santiago. But he's not too bad. He's 5-2 in Bellator, 1-1 in PFL. Coming off a win against Clay Collard. Lost to Michael Dufort. Elvin Espinoza, 10-1. A decent record, to be fair. His 1 loss was in his last fight. Decision to Rabadanov. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. I have no idea why. But he's got quite a few. He's got 4 knockouts, 4 wins. 4 knockouts and 4 submission wins. So decent overall, well-rounded fighter there. So I'm going to go with Espinoza in this fight. I feel like he's going to beat Burnell. He's only had 1 loss in his career, and I think he's going to bounce back from that. and come back for a win. So, moving up the card, we have Danny Sabatello versus Lazaro Dayron. Now, Sabatello 14-4. Dayron is undefeated coming into this fight. Sabatello was actually on the contender series for the UFC, and he won. I guess he didn't get a contract for it. I don't know when this was. I just can't find on his record. But apparently he did win on the contender series. Yeah, he beat Taylor Moore, but then didn't get the contract, I guess. And he beat Damon Blackshear in some thing called Titan FC, and he's in the UFC. So he's got a decent win there on his belt. He has lost his last 2 fights. One to decision, one by guillotine. And his opponent, Lazaro Dayron, 8-0. Decent record to be fair, 5-0 in a thing called Combat Global or something. Don't really know anything about that. But I don't know if the level of opponents is as good as you're going to get in as like what's his face Sabatello has fought, and I feel like he's just had more experience. So I'm going to go with Danny Sabatello in this fight. So moving up the card, we have Biagio Ali Walsh. Someone he shares the same surname as me, that guy. Versus Brian Stapleton. Now I don't know if this is like an error in the on this website, but apparently Walsh has a record of 1-0, and Brian Stapleton has a record of 0-0. So I don't know what that's about. Let's have a look at Brian Stapleton. He's got an amateur record of 4-4. I don't have high hopes for this guy. I don't know who this guy is. They just brought him off the street. It looks like 0-0 professional record. Biagio Ali Walsh has got 1 win in the PFL against Palacio. He's got a nearly full undefeated record, amateur record to be fair to him though, in the PFL as well. But I don't know if this is right. It's an amateur record, but it's like all his fights have been in the PFL now. And I think I've heard of this guy before, this Walsh guy, because he's got the same surname as me. But I mean, I'm gonna pick Walsh here. I mean, I can't not. I mean, he's fighting some guy who is terrible. He's 4-4, so that's a pretty easy pick there. So let's move on to Brent Primus versus Clay Collard. Now, should be a decent fight, this one, to be fair. Primus is 14 and... what's his record? 14-3. Not too shabby. He's 10-3 in Bellator, 2-0 in the PFL. Coming off 2 rear naked choke wins. He had no contest versus Usman Nurmagomedov, because I think Usman tested positive or something like that. I can't really remember. Clay Collard, I think he's coming off a loss. He's 25-13, been around a while in fighting. 7-5 in the PFL, coming off a loss to Mads Burnell, who I have just literally just talked about him. He was 1-4 in his last 4 fights. I'm going to go with Primus here. I feel like he can get the job done here. Maybe by submission, maybe by decision. I'm not too sure. So, move up the card. We have Gadzi Rabadanov versus Michael Dufort. I mean, Rabadanov. I can't say that word, man. Yeah, I was just struggling to say his name early on the card. He must have beat someone who I picked before. He's just coming off the win against Espinoza, who I also picked there. So he's 5-0. He's undefeated, I think, this guy. Well, 22-4, but he's undefeated in the Bellator and the PFL. So not a bad record for him. Michael Dufort, 13-5, the Canadian. Coming off a split decision loss to Piccolotti. He also beat Mads Burnell. Everyone seems to have fought Mads Burnell on this card. But I'm going to go Rabadanov here. I just feel like he's Russian. He's going to get the better of Dufort. He's coming off a loss. Rabadanov coming off a couple wins. And I feel like he's just the smart choice in this fight. So we move up the card to Rob Wilkinson versus Dovlet Yagshimuradov. Dovlet Yagshimuradov. What is it with these weird names on this card, man? I struggled to say the main card, the main event. To be honest, that's a hard name. But this guy Yagshimuradov, he's from, where's he from? Turkmenistan. Damn, you don't see many people from there in for the UFC and these big promotions. He's got 5 wins in a row. To be fair, A couple by decision, a couple by knockout as well. Looks pretty decent. Rob Wilkinson, I think I watched his last fight. He was 19-2, coming off a split decision win off Josh Silveira, who is in the main event of this card. He's looks a pretty decent record there. His only losses were at Israel Adesanya and that in the UFC. So it's a tough one to pick, this, to be honest. I can see it going either way, to be honest. Rob Wilkinson is coming off a split decision win, to be fair, so not the best. So I'm not too sure. I think I'm going to go with Yagshimuradov here, the Turkmenistan man, to get this job done. I think probably by decision. He's on a 5-win streak, to be fair. And I just think he gets the job done, to be honest. It's a close one. I'm not really sure what the odds are, but I'd expect they're quite close for this one. But that's my pick. So moving up to the main event, we have Impa Kasanganay. I swear I said that right in the when I was doing the intro, but I've definitely butchered it now. Versus Josh Silveira. Now Silveira is 13-3. Coming off a loss to Rob Wilkinson, who we've just discussed, beats Sadibou Sai, lost to Impa in the first fight, 2 decision. So they're having the rematch here, and I can only see this rematch going one way. I think Impa is going to win. He's got 2 wins in a row now. Lost to Johnny Eblen, but Johnny Eblen's pretty good, and that was a split decision, to be fair to him. Apart from that, he's on a massive win streak. To be fair, he's got a lot of wins, I think he's he's famous for that one knockout from Joaquin Buckley, but he's made quite a name for himself in the PFL, and I'm going to pick him in this fight. So there we have it. There were my picks for PFL 8, Kasanganay versus Silveira. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.